Hi there, I'm Elisa. Nice to meet you, and welcome to my music studio. I'm teaching the viola today, and this is going to be lesson 1. So, this is the video for you if you just got your instrument and you're all stoked about it, but you're not quite sure what to do yet. I'm going to walk you through some basic things. Everything in this video is actually also good for people who need to just brush up on their skills and want a little bit of a refresher. So we're going to start with your instrument good to go. So that means if you need to tune your instrument or put on your shoulder rest, I'm going to recommend that you defer to a different video for that so we can just get started. Okay, so here we are. Yes, you got your viola. I hope you're excited. It's pretty fun to play music. But the first thing I like to start with my beginners is actually the bow, because the bow is one of the major things that produces this sound. Of course, the left hand does too, but our bow hand and fingers need to learn how to do all kinds of gymnastic stuff that you haven't really done yet. So I'm going to say, let's put down our instrument. And here we are with our bow. We've got the frog and the tip. And I'm going to walk you through where the fingers live on the bow first. And then we're going to go through a few exercises. Number 1, we're going to do the pinky push-up, then what I call the windmill exercise, and then we're going to walk through some open string exercises for both the upper half and the lower half of the bow, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So first off, we're going to talk about where the fingers live. So the beginner bow hold typically has the thumb underneath here. Ultimately, in a more advanced bow hold, we put the thumb kind of in this little area right here. There's like a little shelf right in here. You don't want the thumb underneath. This is like a super common thing that people do, is they stick their thumb right underneath and hold it this way. It doesn't quite go underneath. It goes really to the side. And if you look at my thumb, I've got a little bit of an indent from all the years of playing and honing my skills there. I've got the war scars to prove it, but like that's why. It's because our thumb is not underneath. It's really to the side. So today for our beginner bow hold, I like to start people off down here. It's just a bit easier, and while you're developing your muscle strength and all that stuff. So, okay, now we're gonna go through where all the fingers live on the bow. Thumb right here, really to the side. You can start off by making like an A-OK kind of symbol here. And this point in which your index finger and your thumb meet is a very special point, and that's where you're going to be wanting to make contact with your bow. So we're going to stick that spot, A-OK, right here. And then we're going to take these other fingers and place them very carefully, okay? So the index finger wraps around really quite a lot. We do not want to have our fingers sort of back here. We want to bring the fingers around. These two are kind of twinning, and they like to hang out over the eye of the frog, this little thing right here. This is called the eye. Okay, so we stick those on the eye of the frog. And then we've got our little pinky finger here, and the pinky finger should stay right on top of the bow here. And depending on the size of your hand, it can be all the way back here, or maybe it's a little bit further up here, but somewhere in this region. The important thing is that your bow or your finger here is nice and curved. And that's the tricky thing. That's the thing that we're gonna have to work real hard for. So the exercises that I'm gonna walk you through here in a minute are gonna help teach you that. So here we go. As a little review, we've got our thumb down here, index finger wrapped around, these two over the eye, and then our last pinky here, nice and curved, right on top. So take a minute and make sure your fingers are sort of doing that. And if you notice, while I was placing my fingers, I was holding my bow too. And that's also a really nice way to sort of relieve the pressure from your right hand as you're trying to get situated. So here we are. I'm going to recommend that you hold the bow while you do this. And we're going to do the first exercise, our pinky push-up. That's right. We're doing boot camp for viola bow holds right here. And I promise it'll pay off. It's like sometimes you do things like weightlifting so that you can do better in karate or dance or whatever it is. and it really helps a lot. So this is kind of like that, where we're gonna really get these muscles nice and strong. So the movement here, we're gonna go up, nice and curved, curve that pinky, and like straight like this. Okay, so that's the full movement. Curve up and point it up. Okay, so I'm gonna do 10 pinky push-ups right now. Here we go. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can do it. 9, 10. Oh, you're probably feeling that. So give it a little shake out. Shake, 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 shake. If it was a little much for you to do the straight up pinky, that's totally fine. And also a great way to do this is to just keep it nice and curved in just like this. So that would look like 1, 2, 3. Totally great. The point here and the thing to keep in mind is that we want to keep our pinky up and curved, and then see if you can go the extra mile, like a little kick. Okay, so here's one that I like to do with the pinky push-up, and this is the can-can. Okay, so if you're familiar with the can-can, it's one of those old school dances where the legs kind of do something that looks a little bit like can you do the can you do the can you do it da 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 can you do the can you do the can you do the da 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 woo. Okay, so it's sort of like my pinky is like a leg, like the can leg. So that's a great one. You can sing a little song and do that, and that's a great little exercise. And if you notice, I'm also sort of going this way, and then I'm going that way. And I'm just trying to like come up with ways to like move that pinky, get it nice and strong. So be creative with your movements. Following this video, I'll have a practice video to go along with what we're doing here, so to kind of keep you in line and guide you as you're learning this stuff. So that's the first one, pinky push-up. And then also sort of bonus can. Okay, so now we're gonna do the windmill exercise, and this is sort of a modification of Suzuki. And I sort of came up with this one just through practice and teaching people. But basically what we're gonna do, and this is a little harder than it seems, so I do recommend that, like, be patient, be kind to yourself when you're trying to learn this. You wanna keep your body alignment really nice and square, just like you would in like dance or yoga or anything like that. Sports, you wanna be nice and active on your feet. So making sure that our shoulders are nice and square and like our neck is nice and long when we do this. A lot of times I see people kind of going looking like this while they're trying to do this exercise. So be aware, and we're trying to get you nice and upright. Okay, so then we're going to take our arms. We're going to have like kind of like zombie arms here, nice and straight out, but just the one special right hand. So I'm going to start the exercise with the bow pointing down. I'm not sure if you can see exactly my whole bow, so I'm going to take a little step back. It's okay if you don't see the exact tip of it, as long as this is the important part right here. So shoulder nice and down, arms straight out. And this movement, or I guess I should say arm shape, is difficult on its own. And so my fingers are in their spots. I've got my thumb underneath in the beginner bow hold, and my palm is sort of facing that way, and the top of my hand is facing that way. And I'm sort of like twisted a little bit like this, coming from zombie arm straight out and a little bit of a twist in the arm or the hand here. So then I'm here. And so now basically what I'm trying to do is lift the weight of the bow just using the pinky. All the other fingers are sort of hanging out in their spot. So here we go. I'm gonna just pinky go up. Okay, so now we're parallel. Bow is parallel, pinky curved. In the beginning, your pinky might not be able to be quite curved like that, so maybe it's looking a little bit flat. The point for a lot of this stuff is to just sort of be guiding yourself, aiming to do some specific movement. So here, the goal is to have your pinky nice and curved and truly holding the weight of the bow. Okay, I'm going to do that again just to demo. Arm, shoulder down. And now I'm taking my pinky from this curved shape to a more flat knuckles and like curved pinky. Like this is kind of like, it's a subtle movement, but it'll teach us some stuff. So here we are here, and now I'm here. The tendency for people, or another tendency I should say, is for people to sort of just like move the bow there with the hand, right? We're really not trying to do a lot of big muscle movements here. It's really just the pinky that's working, and the other fingers are just sort of like moving because they're on the bow and everything is moving in that direction. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get a little closer. Nice curved pinky. And now I'm here. So when you're doing these exercises, slow, steady wins the race. This is not a speed exercise. This is something where you want to be laser focused on your arm and your hand, making sure that everything is kind of moving in the direction that you want it to. Okay, there's that. So that's our windmill exercise. Okay, so those are great exercises to do before you go to start to play your instrument. If you do these every day, you absolutely will get stronger and you will learn faster. So it's something that a lot of people kind of forget, and like I'll teach it to people, and my most advanced students actually will do it and learn faster. So that's why I'm including it here. Here we are. Now we're bringing it to the instrument. Okay, so might as well have a little bit of a moment to talk about setup, which is how the instrument sort of connects to our bodies here. So again, with the body alignment, we want our shoulders to be nice and square, head nice and straight up like this. And ideally what we're doing is we're just placing the instrument on our shoulder. We're not doing any kind of like scrunching or anything like that. Just place it there and then turn your head on this sort of like center axis point, turn it towards the scroll, and then let your chin just drop down. That's sort of what our goal is. We should be able to see the fingerboard. We're doing this, and then also like this part of our body is all nice and square and relaxed. Okay, so here I'm going to try to do it. So I'm placing the instrument here, and now I'm looking at the scroll and just dropping the head down. Our heads actually weigh a fair amount and theoretically are enough weight to keep the instrument in line. So I'll probably make another video talking about all this stuff down here and what you could do, but I've got some extra padding because I play quite a lot and I have sensitive skin. So this is just fabric that I've literally rubber band to the instrument. But you can do stuff like this to kind of increase comfort. I also have a little bit of padding down here. So just sort of place it there. Head looking at the scroll, relax it down, and maybe just the slightest bit, your left shoulder can come up just a little bit if needed. But theoretically, if your shoulder rest is big enough and fitting properly, you shouldn't really have to move that shoulder up very much at all. Okay, so here we are. And we're gonna try to play with our bow. Very exciting. Okay, so I like to start people off with just focusing on the different regions of the bow so that we can really get used to the different arm movements and get control of things. So I want you to think of the bow as being divided into fractions. If you haven't done fractions yet, that means just break it up into parts. And right now we're gonna have two parts. We're gonna have our lower half here, which is the half with the frog, and then the upper half, which is the middle to the tip here. If you are my student here in person, I would give you a little sticker here to remind you. So we're gonna focus first on the lower half, and each part of the bow, the arm moves in a very specific way. For the lower half, the arm movement is coming from the shoulder. Okay, and this is tricky, and I'm actually gonna just put this down for a second to show you a little bit more clearly. So lower half here from the shoulder, elbow moving back. It's a pretty small movement. Everything else should be fairly still here. Once you get to about that midpoint, at that point we start to open and close from the elbow. So now the movement is here. And this is really key for bow control and all kinds of stuff. So we've got lower half from the shoulder, elbow comes back. You reach your magic middle spot, elbow stops, and now we're opening and closing. So each string on the instrument has a specific elbow height and arm height, which we will explore in a little bit. But basically, as you practice and as you do this stuff with repetition, your body will learn at what height is best for each string. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do the lower half to start. And I'm trying to keep, let me go to my beginner bow hold here. I'm trying to keep all my fingers in their spots. And I'm really just gonna focus on, just kind of keeping it down here. And I want us to start, let's just start on the D string to start. That's typically one of the easier strings. And then we're gonna go do a bunch of other strings. But here we are on the D string. Place the bow on the string right above your hand and just like, just relax. I know it's hard. There's so much going on. But we can take a moment to be kind of zen with our viola here. So place it, relax. And then now we're going to just kind of let our elbow come open and then and move from the shoulder. And I'm just going to stop at the midpoint here. I'm only doing in the lower half. Also to keep in mind is that when we're playing the hair, we don't really want it to be this white part. This is horsehair. We don't want our hair to be perfectly flat all the time on the string. We really want it to be at quite an angle. And the angle on the lower half is more extreme than the upper half. So once we get to about this midpoint here, then the hair might look a little bit more flat, but we're still kind of leaning towards that side away from you. This side here. So not this side. Our wrist should be coming up here and a little bit of the hair going like this. So I'm going to suggest that when you're doing this, you just take some time to play each string one by one, get to know it, and also just remember to relax. That's one of the things that is like so hard with this instrument. It's like just really tricky, So just take a breath and then give it a go. So let's pretend that you have done now each string a little bit, a few times each, and now we're going to put it all together and we're going to play what I like to call the open string song in the lower half, okay? Because that's what we're kind of focusing on right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and you can just sort of watch, and if you've got your instrument, feel free to play along. I'm going to make you a practice video too so that you'll have something that is more specifically designed for you to be playing along. Okay, so here we are. Got my fingers in the right place. My wrist is coming up just a little bit so that I can get my hair to be nice and curved. And here I'm going to go nice and slow. You can play each string 2 times. Really focusing on that movement from the shoulder. Thinking about my pinky and my thumb. We'll do this one more time. And in your left hand, you can hold up the instrument just to make sure that you've got it there. Okay, there it is. So when you're practicing this stuff, we want to make sure we're maintaining contact with the string. So try not to lift the bow just nice and steady with what we've got down bows and up bows. So a down bow is when your hand, if you kept going, would go down. And an up bow is where, if you kept going, ooh, don't want to hit the ceiling, you would go up. So just nice, smooth, down bow, up bow. Try not to lift, try to relax, feel heavy, and think sturdy, but just don't let the arm kind of like be hovering above. We want to be nice, sinking down into the string. Okay, so that's the lower half. Now let's focus on the upper half here. Here we go. Upper half is going to start right at about that midpoint. And maybe for the practice video, I'll stick a little sticker on there for you. So you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to start with the D string. And again, going through my little checklist for all my fingers. Got my thumb where it goes, pinky nice and curved. But this time, I'm wanting to keep my shoulder and my elbow more kind of steady and just more going up and down according to the string height. Not this way as much. In the upper half, we want the open close movement. So go ahead, play some notes on that D string. Try to feel like you're gripping the fingers around the frog and your pinky's nice and curved, your thumb is curved. Okay, I don't think I mentioned this before, but always want to keep your thumb curved. That's super, super important for your bow hold. We'll talk about that in the practice video too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play that open string song just so you can see it. And same thing where I don't want to be lifting or doing any kind of funny stuff here. I just want straight, plain Jane, down bow, up bow. And then when I go to change strings, maybe just a little bit of a lowering here. Down bow, up bow. Just a little bit of a lowering for each string height. And actually, why don't you just go ahead and do this. When you place the bow on the string here in the middle, you can feel each string height just by kind of slowly, carefully moving that bow up and down here, just like this. So go ahead, give that a try so you can feel, and you can kind of see my arm moving up and down. And this is tricky because you don't want to go too much. You don't want to go too little. And when we're doing our open string song, we really are trying to play one string at a time. We don't want to be doing double stopping, which is when you play more than one string at a time. We're trying to work on being able to control which string we're playing. So just enough here. On the outside strings, you could think of the bow as kind of hovering over the inside string. So like on this A string, for example, you might want to be leaning a little bit over the D string, not too far down here. So just keep it up a little bit. Don't touch that D string just yet, but just hovering over it. And same thing with the C string down here, where you want to be hovering over that G string and not too far this way. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Here we go. Open string song, upper half. Bow on the string and towards about the middle here. Here you go. I'm going to take a nice deep breath in, and then I'm going to out, and then I'm going to start. This can be tricky because we want to have a nice straight bow. We want our bow to be nice and parallel with the bridge. So feel like your hand is coming out in front of you, like kind of in front of your belly button. This string one more time. Not so much off to the side. You just want to have a nice straight bow. Okay, and there it is. Upper half, lower half open string song. Once you get more advanced, you feel like you've got those movements under control, you can go ahead and do a whole bow. And I'm going to do that for you just so that you've got it all here in one video. Okay, here's the whole bow open string song. So when I do the whole bow thing, I'm thinking about a lot. I'm thinking about checklist for my fingers. Each finger goes where they are, my shoulders down, moving from the shoulder here and then opening up, keeping my hand in front of my body so that I don't have a crooked bow, right? This is something we all think about and talk about when we play. This is a wrong. We want nice and straight here, which means parallel to the bridge. Or you could think of it like the bow is just making contact with one special spot. Actually, we call that the contact point. Contact point is where the bow touches the string, and we want that contact point to just be stable, just one spot. Keep it consistent. So here we go. Open string song, whole bow. When I'm doing this, I'm trying to be right in the middle between the bridge and the fingerboard. And I'm moving at a nice, slow, kind of consistent speed, trying to be careful about it. Resist the temptation to move really fast because we're just not ready yet. And we want to be really careful and intentional about all of our movements. Thinking about our bow hair. Keep that bow hair nice and curved, especially at the frog. All the way from the frog to the tip here. Keeping the bow right in the middle. Voila, there you have it. So thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That's what they say. So I'm kind of new to this social media thing, but here we go. And I hope that you feel like you learned something. See you next time. Bye.